So I had two mics going there at once. I'm gonna put the invite link into the chat box. If anybody wants to come, you're more than welcome to join me in the Zoom call, or you can just watch at home. So yeah, all right, good. Everything's good there. Okay, what are we doing? So, if there anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Chris Norris. I'm a veteran, cognitiveFitnessCoach.com, and I'm a social worker, and I am also a meditation teacher. I'm a breathwork instructor. I'm a father of two lovely girls, and I am a husband to a beautiful wife. And I come on here once a week to do a live session. This is our second go around. And what I want to do is come in here every week and give you some type of tool to help you with stress reduction, emotional intelligence, and clarity in your life. So, and this week, the tool I'd like to talk about would be the psychological. Do that every time. I always call it the psychological side, the physiological side, the physiological side. Oh, sometimes called the cyclic side. And you'll always see me spell it the cyclic side because I can never spell physiological right. And I often get psychological and physiological mixed up, as you can see. So, what is the physiological side? Well, it's a natural hardwired response into our system that we do from the time we're little babies down to to now. The thing now, though, is like as an adult, I often have to do it with intention. Like I have to think about doing it rather than just doing it instinctively. When we're babies, we do it instinctively. When we're very upset, and we're trying to calm ourselves down, we do this instinctively. So, um, what is it? Well, excuse me, the pattern of the psychological side is one inhale through the nose, and it's up to about, say, 75% of your capacity. Then it's a pause, and then you top off, or a shot on top, as I would say, and then a long, slow, steady exhale out the mouth. And that long, slow, steady exhale is really important. When you're working with this breath work and you're trying to bring down your nervous system to a rest and digest calm baseline, you want that exhale to be longer than the inhale. So what does a double inhale do? Well, when you're stressed and you're fatigued, um, the little air sacs in our lungs, they begin to collapse and they trap carbon dioxide and they reduce oxygen exchange. So when you fill up the lungs and you fill up these little sacs called alveoli, right? The second smaller inhale, it as you inhale, like the sacs get bigger, and then you let off and they collapse, and then you get that second bigger one. It pops open the inhale again. It pops open the alveoli again, and it opens them up more fully, so better oxygen uptake, clearer thinking, right? Because once you begin to get stressed and it affects your breathing and your breathing begins to get shallow and you're not having that good oxygen uptake and that carbon dioxide exchange, getting the CO2 out of you, it begins to it begins to affect your thinking. Maybe it's tuning out to me right now. Maybe I just need to do some of these and calm the hell down. All right. It affects your thinking like pretty quickly. So and you think back, like it's intuitive. I don't know when the last time you were really upset, but when you're calming down, you probably didn't have to think about doing this maneuver. And you went like that, or have you seen your kid do after a temper tantrum? That's the cyclic sigh. And we can do that with intention today to help bring us down to a nice state of rest and digest. So, as many of us think perhaps we don't think, but I'm gonna tell you now, like that stress is such like that we're just not getting enough oxygen into our body, which some of that's true, but a bigger part of it too is also that we're not gonna be able to get off enough of that CO2. Part of breathing is getting rid of that CO2. So when CO2 goes up, what else goes up? Our heart rate goes up, our thoughts begin to get a little noisy, our focus begins to collapse, and our body goes into a rest and not a rest and digest, a fight or flight. Man, I am all over the place this morning. Body goes into a threat mode. So that long exhale, along with that double inhale, really helps to release a lot of that CO2 and directly activates the parasympathetic side of our nervous system. So let's not waste too much more time talking about it. Let's be about it. So, if you want to join me in this short practice, I'm just going to do 10 rounds. I'm going to do 10 rounds. This is pretty extensive. And if you don't want to join for all 10 rounds, you can just join for 3 or 5 or what have you. But I'm going to do it for 10 rounds. I'm going to do the cyclic side. And if you want to join me, the first thing I do is I sit as comfortably as possible. I ensure that I'm not driving or I'm not operating heavy machinery. No, not happening. Good. Okay. And I sit, and if it feels safe to do so, close your eyes. And as I sit here, I just come into my body. Just allow my mind to drop down into my body, and I begin to think about the sensations I feel in my body. And then I begin to think about the way my body feels sitting on the chair, on the cushion. And I just recognize the sensations that are present there. And perhaps I begin to recognize any sound in my environment. Maybe there's natural sounds of birds, breeze in the trees, bugs. Maybe there's man-made noises, traffic, fans. Maybe there's people talking. It's all good. It all belongs. I just allow those noises to bring me more and more into this present moment. Now I let go of that focus and I bring a focus now to my breath. Begin to feel the breath, feel the sensation of the breath as it comes in and out of the nostrils. I'm not trying to change it, I'm not trying to fix it, just observing the breath. And next, we're going to begin to deepen the breath. We'll do this together, and I'll guide you through it. And again, I'm going to do 10 rounds, but you're more than welcome to just do 3 or 5. And if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel lightheaded, if you feel tingling, if you feel dizzy, if you feel anything that you're not comfortable with during this practice, you do not have to continue. Please just open your eyes and breathe normally. But in order to sync all our breath up, let us all begin by pushing our air out of our mouth. So push all your air out, push all your air out. Now breathe into the nose, about 75% shot on top. And now breathing out the mouth. Long, slow, steady exhale. Letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Again, into the nose. Shot on top. And now let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Again, in. Shot. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Continuing on. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. We're halfway there for anyone who's going 10 rounds. Again, in. Again, in. Again. Again. Last one. Sip air into the nose. Let it out with a sigh. Allow your breathing to return to normal in through the nose and out of the nose. And again, just bringing your attention into the body, perhaps scanning the body now from the top of the head down to the tips of the toes, and noticing any sensations that are present. Noticing if anything shifted, perhaps noting that everything stayed the same. Either way is okay. We're not here to judge it. We're not here to change or fix anything. We're here to recognize and allow whatever is present to be here. Now invite movement into your body that feels nice, feels welcoming, moving fingers, moving toes, maybe moving arms, moving legs, doing whatever you wish, getting out of that self-conscious self and just moving around, being a little silly. It doesn't really matter. Nobody cares. They're only thinking about themselves. Put my hands up in the air, put my hands down by my side, open my heart to the world. If you close your eyes, you can flutter them open or you can just bring your gaze upwards. Awesome. So that was the cyclic sigh, the physiological sigh. It's just another thing to put in your toolbox. At the beginning of the practice, it was probably much slower for me because I was guiding, but really the cadence is that's about the cadence you would want to do. So talk a little bit more about what's going on with me in my life and how I've been applying these principles. Anyone who doesn't know me, you may not know that I've gotten into doing these long runs in the mountains called ultra marathons, and I started that about 10 years ago. When I trained for my first marathon in 2015, um, and fell in love with it. Fell in love with the process of training, the discipline of training, the places it brought me, how it got me outside, got me all these wonderful things, the people I met, the health aspect to burn off the cortisol and such, and get myself some dopamine and adrenaline and oxytocin and all these wonderful chemicals, these natural chemicals that I rely on so much, as we all do. Um, yeah, so this weekend, I had a big one. It was 100 kilometers, which is 62 miles, and it was like close to 5,000 meters of climbing, which is, I think, around 16,000 feet of climbing. And it was in northern Thailand, in Chiang Mai, Thailand. So, uh, it didn't go as planned, but it went the way it had to go. It went the way it was supposed to go, I suppose. If I really accept that everything happens the way it's supposed to, and this was no different. But it was a struggle. It was a real struggle. I started coming apart pretty early on with some gastrointestinal issues. I wasn't digesting quite right, and my energy levels were really low, and I was getting really lightheaded, and I was getting dizzy, and there came points in the race where literally I had to like lay down on the ground and take a little nappy nap. Not even really a nap though. I mean, I would say I only probably fell asleep like I think once, but I would lay down and just take a break for like 5, 10 minutes at a time just to get all my poop in a group. And yeah, so that's when I really like these breath practices really helped me. I lay down and I would just breathe. I would breathe and I would visualize as well. I would breathe into the discomfort. I would allow it to be there, but at the same time, I'm like breathing into it, asking it like, what do you need? What do you want from me? What can I do for you? Um, and it would help, you know? So the pattern was pretty much like I would eat at these they call it checkpoints or aid stations where there would be food and drink and such. So I would eat, I would leave, I would get lightheaded, I would get dizzy, I would get nauseous, and then I would have to fight through that. And then once I fought through that, I would start to feel pretty good. I would try not to like accelerate and turn it up at all. I would try to just keep going slow, but it didn't really matter because after the dizziness and the nausea, the next thing that would come would be the muscle cramps. And then I would cramp. And then once I made it through the cramps, the next phase was always like I felt good. And then I would make it to the next aid station and then just like repeat. That was kind of like the cycle throughout the 24 hours and 50 minutes and 19 seconds that this thing took me to do. So some of the things that, I realized from this race that I've learned while doing this race and that I've learned over and over again is one, things can change. Everything can change. And how I was feeling in those particular moments, if I thought to myself that this wasn't going to change and this was going to be the way I was going to feel for the rest of the day, then I would have stopped. But I know that things can change and oftentimes for the better, even when it doesn't make any sense that it was going to change. It will change. So, when you're struggling, stay in it and realize that things can change. And right now, in a moment of suffering, it's like right now it's like this, but nothing lasts forever. And this, whatever it might be, shall pass and be replaced by the next thing. Things can change. The next thing, this was one of the first races I did. I won't say the first run, but the first race I did. Because now reflecting back, I did a run with Corey. We did 100 miles and we stuck together, and that was really nice. But this is the first time it was like a race with bibs and prizes and all that. Where a guy that I met last year at a 10-day meditation retreat stuck with me the whole time, even though he was a much stronger runner. he stuck with me the whole time. He never left me, which was amazing. Really like admire and respect that because yeah, I never had anyone do that, and I don't know if I've ever done that. It's 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 expected that you would check in on a runner who's struggling. Say, hey, are you okay? Do you need anything? But when they say, yeah, I'm okay, no, I don't need anything, then you're gone. But this guy was like, gonna stick with me from the start to the finish. And that was just amazing. When I was struggling and like laying on the ground, he was right there with me. He even like shook my legs out. He was offering me whatever I needed, like anything you needed, just let me know. And that was amazing. So I think it's an African proverb that says like if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And that's what we did. And that teamwork and that connection was just so helpful. Amazing, man. I mean, yeah, I'm having lunch with him and his wife today with my wife, and yeah, pretty stoked about that. He's a great guy. So if he's ever watching this, I just thank him again and again for sticking with me, and he won't take that thanks because he doesn't. He thinks like why wouldn't I? Like it's normal, but I don't know. Maybe that's just the culture I was growing up, in, right? Just rugged individuality. Yeah, it was better to work as a team. Um, one of the third thing and like the last thing I'll mention is just like taking mindfulness and bringing it into these types of events and bringing mindfulness into your life, like how helpful it is because it's so easy to trip out into the future about like, oh, I'm 20 miles into this and I feel like crap. Like, how am I going to get to mile 62? And yeah, it will come. Just stay where your feet are at. And it's a lot better that way. It's a lot more manageable. So just staying in the moment was so helpful. And one of the things that happened during the race that at the time I was like, oh no, but it worked out really well was my watch died. Like it ran out of battery. So I couldn't track how far I had. I couldn't track how much more climbing I had, none of that. So that was really helpful. Um, and yeah, I think in the future I'm going to put something over my watch so that I don't see it because it was just more helpful to listen to my body and to stay present and in the moment than it was to trip out on the numbers and worry about how far I had to go and so on and so forth. So, I mean, I say it pretty often and it's it's useful to stay in the moment, but how do we stay in the moment? Well, one of the things I do is I just concentrate on what I'm feeling in my body, concentrate on the sounds around me, I concentrate on what I see around me, I focus on my breath, I focus on yeah, everything that I can feel, all the senses around me, and really just try to immerse myself in the present moment. Because it never fails is that when I'm struggling, is my thoughts are either in the past or in the future. But if I can stay right here, right now, everything's good. And I certainly don't need to beat myself up about my mind drifting. I mean, that's normal. I don't really know his mind doesn't drift. Your mind's supposed to drift, right? It's part of your default mode network. We can talk about that some other time. So, yeah, that's about it. That's about all I got for this week. Short live. If you ever want to join me on any of these lives, you don't have to show yourself on camera. You don't have to turn on your microphone. You can just be in the meeting. Um, and because they are streamed. So if you're watching this on Facebook, hey, everybody on Facebook land, good to see you. And if you want to join me and a community of like-minded individuals that are working to bring a calm body, a clear mind, and a strong life into our lives, um, get on Skool. It's the cognitive fitness community, and we're just getting started. So if you go into that store at Skool and it looks like there's a lot of empty shelves, know that we're building and we're building and we're building, and I'm not going to stop. So it's going to be amazing, and I would really love to have you there. It's a free community. It's free to sign up. It's just free resources, community, lives, lessons, practices, and school. So there is a classroom in there, and I've built two courses so far, and I plan to build a lot more. All right, cool. That's all I got for this week. Y'all be well. Peace.